dancing, you know it, baby. Tell me your troubles and doubts, giving me everything inside and out. And love strange, so real in the dark. Think of the tender things that we were working on. Slow change may pull us apart when the light gets into your heart, baby. Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. Will you stand above me? Look my way, never love me. Rain keeps falling down, down, down. Will you recognize me? Call my name or walk on by. Rain keeps falling down, 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 down. It's my feeling will win in the end. I won't harm you or touch your defenses. Vanity, insecurity. Don't you forget about me. I'll be alone, dancing, you know it, baby. Going to take you apart. I put us back together. Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. But you won't come by. Well, you walked on the beach beside that old hotel. They're tearing it down now, but it's just as well. I haven't shown you everything a man can do, so stay with me, baby. I got plans for you. This is the time to remember, 'cause it will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to, 'cause we won't all we'll want to. This is the time, but time is gonna change. You've given me the best of you, and now I need the rest of you. Did you know that before you came into my life, some kind of miracle that I survived? Someday we will both look back and have to laugh. We lived through a lifetime and the aftermath. This is the time to remember, 'cause it will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to, 'cause we won't all we'll want to. This is the time, but time is gonna change. I know we gotta move somehow, but I don't wanna lose you now. Sometimes it's so easy to let a day slip on by without even seeing each other at all. But this is the time you'll turn back to, and so will I. And those will be days you can never recall. And so we embrace again behind the dunes. This beach is so cold on winter afternoons. Ah, but holding you close is like holding the summer sun. I'm warm from the memory of days to come. This is the time to remember, 'cause it will not last forever. These are the days to hold on to, 'cause we want all we'll want to. This is the time, but time is gonna change. You've given me the best of you, but now I need the rest of you. One day and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. There's a world outside the darkened door where blues won't haunt you anymore. With a brave heart free and love is so ride with me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate, break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Through all these cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around. I loved you now like I loved you then. This is the road and these are the hits. From Mozambique to those Memphis nights, the Cabot path to Vancouver's lights. Knock me down, back up again. You're in my blood, I'm not a lonely man. There's no load I can't hold. The road's are rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes in. Just tell them we're survivors. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. Give me, yeah. You're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. There was a distance between you and I, a misunderstanding once, but now we're looking in the eye. There ain't no load that I can't hold. Road so rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes in. Just tell them we're survivors. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Gimme, yeah. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Gimme, yeah. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke. Your love life's the away. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to fall, I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me too. thought I'd feel this way. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you. And if I should ever go away, well then close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. And then if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. For good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Well, you came in open me, and now there's so much more I see. And so by the way, I thank you. Oh, and then for the times when we're apart, well, then close your eyes and know the words are coming from my heart. And then if you can remember, oh, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times, in bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. Oh, that's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me.
Northern Valley Regional High School at Demorest. I really sincerely hope that when you look back on your 4 years at our school that you'll think of excellence inside the classroom, outside the classroom, excellence on the athletic field, excellence in our co-curricular program, community service. You've done an outstanding job, class of 1995. We were extremely proud of your accomplishments, your efforts, your enthusiasm, and your support. What did the class of 95 accomplish? In the classroom, you had the highest amount of National Merit finalists in Bergen County. Inside the classroom, you have been honored nationally by Red Book magazine as one of the top 50 public high schools in America. During your senior year, Good Morning America decided to broadcast a show on the excellence in education from our high school, stating that we were the model of excellence in education in the present and also for the future. During your senior year, we implemented technology across the board and are recognized on the state level and throughout the country as being on the cutting edge of technology and education. You came to the forefront in the extracurricular activities. Number one in Bergen County in baseball and also in boys track. Number one in Bergen County in girls field hockey. Championships in wrestling. Excellence in almost all areas of athletic participation. Community service. You were there for the community. Hurricane Andrew, the Manny Fund, our custodian. Who can forget when we saw the TV clippings, the appreciation that Manny had for all of your efforts. And finally, the Jason Ruda Fund, one of our graduates who was crippled. And you came forward and got him a van so that he could go on with his college education and get on with his life. Excellence inside and outside the classroom has to be the motto of the class of 95. When you were freshmen, we challenged you to be involved, to excel. You accepted that challenge and you succeeded. As you watch this video, I certainly hope it brings back many, many fond memories of the successes, the friendships, and the happiness that you had at Northern Valley Demorest. You're now an alumni. You join nearly 20,000 other alumni of the Northern Valley Regional High School District. Be proud of that. Northern Valley is recognized as excellence in what public education should be. You were part of that, and you are part of what makes us excellent. I wish you nothing but the best in the future. I hope that you will always remember your years here at Demorest as fond ones. Good luck.
Good evening, parents, teachers, graduates-to-be, and friends. In Uncle Vanya, when Anton Chekhov asks, those who live in a century or two, those for whom we're clearing the path, will they have a good word for us? He seems desperate for a hopeful response, but he knows better. I'm here to tell Chekhov that because of a special group of people, those who live in a century or two will have a good word for us. This past April, I participated in Senior Switch Day. For those of you in the audience who have absolutely no idea what Senior Switch Day is, I'll explain. It's a senior class activity in which students become teachers for a day. For example, Adam Rosenberg taught all of Mrs. Mary Lou D's English classes, and Dan Meyer taught all of Mr. Mark Wright's English classes. Although some students saw this as an amusing activity, I saw it as something more. This new perspective fascinated and delighted me. For the first time, I wasn't fed the curriculum. I stood in front of 5 classes and taught. I found myself sharing information instead of receiving it. Not only that, I encouraged others to think. From that day, I took away a newfound respect for my teachers, a respect based on appreciation. I understood that the years of people trying to teach me came from a genuine desire and enthusiasm in the noblest profession, teaching. My newfound appreciation resulted directly from having seen the classroom through the teacher's eyes. I understood that teachers had acquired an abundance of knowledge which they chose to use to help others rather than themselves. This selflessness, above all else, is the essence of teaching. Not only does selflessness show in the classroom, but it also shows after school. This year, Mr. Scott Lewis, officially a substitute, unofficially a guest teacher, stayed until 8 o'clock at night just to ensure that the school newspaper would be published. Mr. Kevin Walter ran advanced placement review sessions just to make sure that we would do well on the advanced placement test. Some sessions lasted until 7:30 p.m. Of course, it must be noted that these review sessions took place after Mr. Walter's track practices, which lasted from 3 p.m. until about 6 p.m. Mrs. Marianne Molnar also ran advanced placement review sessions. She gave up part of some of her Saturdays to come into school and help the students taking the calculus advanced placement test. On Senior Switch Day, when I saw that my students became interested in the subject matter that I taught, I became exhilarated. The more my students wanted to learn, the more I wanted to teach. I wanted to teach them as much as I could, as quickly as possible, for fear that the period would end and my students would not have the opportunity to tell me how they thought about the particular subject. I realized the incredible effort and energy people devote to teaching and how much the teacher depends on the student. A teacher must devote the same attention to every class. The teacher has to make the same effort within a different class, as well as one that is involved and enthusiastic. This job is not an easy one, but day in and day out, 180 days a year, it can provide for extraordinary fulfillment. When there is that special class, the one that can't wait to sit and be with the teacher, it makes the job worth it. I have been told, for example, that many of retiree Robert DeLucia's English students enjoyed his class for just that reason. When I look back on the education that I received here, I will remember all my classes. In particular, I will remember my experiences analyzing Dante's Divine Comedy, writing commentaries for the newspaper, learning about Napoleon's rule in France, and studying high school Spanish. For all of us sitting on this field today, it was the extra effort, time, and dedication of those teachers that made the difference to us. I will never forget Northern Valley Regional High School. I will never forget my friends, my family, and my teachers. Today, we leave Northern Valley with our diplomas and our memories, and we leave with a personal legacy from each of our teachers. To each and every one, thank you.
Good evening. 40 years ago, Northern Valley Regional High School opened its doors, and 40 years ago, in 1955, Broadway welcomed a new play by Jerome Lawrence and Robert E. Lee. In 1955, the play was timely. In 1995, it still is. Inspired by the 1925 Scopes trial, that play, Inherit the Wind, is about the issues of academic freedom, about the issue of responsibility of free speech, about the issue of a human being's right to acquire and exchange information. Maybe that's play which has inspired me since 1955, the year I started to teach. And for these three themes, academic freedom, free speech, and the right to acquire knowledge, Inherit the Wind inspired me to devote a lifetime to teaching. At any rate, the two brief passages from the play that I'll read, and it's a play many of you know, many of you have studied, and I hope these passages inspire you as much as they have touched me these past 40 years. As you remember, the two lawyers in the play are based on the lives of Clarence Darrow and William Jennings Bryan. Bryan defended a teacher's right to teach Darwin's theory of evolution. Bryan attacked the teacher's right to do so. When William Jennings Bryan asked sarcastically, "Is it possible that something is holy to you?" the rather annoyed Drummond answered, "Yes, something is holy to me. The individual human mind. In a child's power to master the multiplication table, there is more sanctity than in all your shouted amens, holy holies, and hosannas. An idea is a greater monument than a cathedral, and the advance of man's knowledge is more of a miracle than any sticks turned to snakes or the parting of waters. But I have to admit, progress has never been a bargain. Sometimes I think there's a man behind a counter who says, "All right, you can have a telephone, but you'll have to give up privacy. You'll have to give up the charm of distance. Okay, you may want to conquer the air, but the birds will lose their wonder and the clouds will smell of gasoline." Darwin moved us forward to a hilltop where we could look back and see the way from which we came. But for this view, for this insight, for this knowledge, we must abandon our faith in the pleasant poetry of Genesis. Later, before the jury announces its verdict, the verdict that will determine the innocence or the guilt of the teacher, Clarence Darrow tries to comfort his client, and he tries to comfort him by recalling a childhood incident. And he says, "Sometimes I think the law is like a horse race. Sometimes it seems to ride like fury just to end back where I started. Might as well be, on a merry-go-round or a rocking horse or Golden Dancer." Golden Dancer. That was the name of my first long shot, Golden Dancer. She was in the big side window of the general store in Wakeman, Ohio. I used to stand out in the street and say to myself, if I had Golden Dancer, I'd have everything in the world that I wanted. I was 7 years old and knew a hell of a lot about rocking horses. Golden Dancer had a bright red mane, blue eyes, and she was gold all over with purple spots. When the sun hit her stirrups, she was a dazzling sight to see. But she was a week's wages for my father, so Golden Dancer and I always had a plate glass window between us. But let's see, it couldn't have been Christmas, it must have been my birthday. I woke up in the morning, and there, at the foot of my bed, was Golden Dancer. Ma had skimped on the groceries for a month, and Pa had worked many, many nights to pay for that. I jumped into the saddle and started to rock, and it broke. It split in two. The whole wood was rotten. The whole thing was put together with spit and sealing wax. All shine and no substance. So I urge you, whenever you see something bright, something shining, something perfect seeming, all gold with purple spots, look behind the paint. And if it's a lie, show it up for what it really is. And if it's a lie, show it up for what it really is. To everyone in the class of 1995, my best wishes and heartfelt thanks for being members of the class of 1995.
Good evening. When we look back at our days at Northern Valley, what exactly is it that we're going to remember. In my case, it won't be the math problems or the book I had to read. And it certainly won't be the papers I stayed up until 3 a.m. to write. But I know I will never forget the monthly debates, marching in the football games, and the extra fun if it rained, or the band trips. The activities at Northern Valley and the friends made in these activities are what will remain forever in the memories of all of us graduates. Whether it was dancing in Kinesis or editing for the newspaper, activities taught us to listen to other people, to value the opinion of others, even if we disagreed. Activities helped to reinforce all those moral values that our parents attempted to instill in us at home. Activities showed us that the greatest rewards are not in the form of a good grade or trophy. Activities provided us with something more than academics alone could provide. Extracurricular involvement educated us on how to develop as human beings. Our participation in these activities gave us our heart and our conscience. Many of us entered high school still enveloped in the me and only me world of middle school. We cared little for the opinion of others, and we were looking out for only ourselves. But things would soon have to change. And what helped to change this egocentric attitude were the activities in which we participated. For example, in academic decathlon, each individual's study habits had a direct effect on the team's results. Our participation fostered cooperation. Club meetings required the help of many people to make events possible. And with every activity at Northern Valley, the more ideas tossed around by different people, the better the final product would be. Academics provided us with the knowledge we will need for college and careers. Athletics provided us with a sense of competition that is necessary to get ahead in today's world. But what activities have given us is most important. Activities opened our eyes to a whole new world, the world of other people, many people with new and exciting ideas, a world where completely different people could get along because of a shared goal. We met people we loved, and we met people who were less than charming. We agreed with some ideas and rejected others. But the beauty of this process is that it helped each of us discover ourselves. We knew what we stood for, and we cared enough for others to hear their point of view. Besides all of this, and most importantly, activities gave us heart. The heart to make that rehearsal, the heart to meet that deadline, despite the other 1,000 things going on in our lives. We've all heard the expression, there's more to life than studying, and it really is true. I feel that it is my extracurricular experiences which have prepared me most for the road that lies ahead, come what may. Debating has especially helped to develop my character. When I arrived at Northern Valley, I was uncomfortable with the idea of standing in front of a group of people and voicing my opinion. It seemed easier to just melt into the background and keep things to myself. But somehow, I was able to work up the courage and to find the strength to join the debate team. As each debate passed, debating became easier and easier, and my fears began to fade. But much more important than this is what I got from this experience. I learned that, as a woman, it's okay to be assertive. You don't have to be afraid or self-conscious to say what you feel. Of all the activities in which I have been involved, debating has done the most to build my self-esteem, as well as the self-esteem of all of my teammates. Will our class of '95 go down in history as the single greatest class that ever graced the halls of Northern Valley? Who knows? But I'll tell you what I do know. Some of the actions which the class of '95 has taken to help others will go down in history, at least the history of Demorest and the history of those we helped. When someone was in need, neither the class of '95 nor Northern Valley has ever turned its back. All of our projects, from the food drives to the Genesis projects, illustrate our spiritual growth, our growth of human character, our growth of the heart and of the conscience. Sadly, our hearts and our consciences have been called on with the recent death of our schoolmate, Jason Cates. I met Jason at the beginning of my senior year as his National Honor Society tutor. Throughout high school, we had different academic schedules, and my tutoring activity was our first and only opportunity to meet each other and to work together. When I first heard the tragic news, I, like the rest of our school community, was greatly saddened. This accident caused many of us to reflect about our own lives. What I thought about was how, if I had not been Jason's tutor, I probably would have never gotten acquainted with him. Activities introduce us to people, and they create ties among people. This tie with Jason is why my heart hurt so much when I heard the news of his death. But at the same time, I am very glad to have reached out to Jason, and I would like to think that our work together also contributed something to his life. I know I speak for the entire class when I say that our hearts go out to the Cates family. High school can be seen as part of the path from the selfish years of childhood to the potentially selfless years of adulthood. We entered high school in 1991 at the beginning of this path. Now, in 1995, I do not know if we have completely traveled it. Some are closer than others, but I think there will always be a little of the me and only me mentality in each of us. Fortunately, activities have helped to shrink this mindset so that others become just as or more important in our lives. I think all NV graduates will leave here today with not only a diploma, but also with a big heart. I urge my fellow graduates to continue to develop their love, compassion, and concern towards their fellow man. For just as the mind never stops learning, the heart never stops loving and growing. Therefore, as we leave Northern Valley, I want to share with you the words of William Jewett Tucker, a former president of Dartmouth College, who said, "Be not content with the commonplace in character, any more than with the commonplace in ambition or intellectual attainment. Do not expect to make any lasting impression or very strong impression on the world through intellectual power, without the use of an equal amount of conscience and heart." Thank you.
Good evening. In 1675, two prominent scientists, Robert Hooke and René Descartes, asked Isaac Newton why he, Newton, was able to produce such startling, creative, and profound discoveries such as calculus and the three basic laws of motion. Newton responded with a statement, "If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants." Newton was referring, of course, to the great scientists and mathematicians that had preceded him and had laid the foundation which allowed Newton to make his fantastic intellectual progress. I would like today's graduates to pause and reflect upon some of the shoulders that you have stood upon, allowing you to see far into a promising future. First, let us consider the shoulders of your parents. Think about the 6,000 diapers, the hundreds of Little League and soccer games, all the dance lessons, and the all-night sleepovers. And how about that big surcharge when you got your license on the auto insurance? A common thread that all of you have is that your parents have seen to it that you have received an excellent education at Northern Valley that will provide a firm foundation for your future endeavors. These, of course, are just the proverbial tip of the iceberg of all the sacrifices that your parents have made for you. Secondly, let us consider the shoulders that have lent support over the last 4 years. I refer to the staff of Northern Valley Demarest, from the custodians who maintain the beautiful surroundings that we're in this evening, to the teachers and administrators who have guided you through your high school years. Consider how many times Mr. D'Ambra helped you with that difficult short story assignment. And remember Mrs. Roby taking great pains to explain how your mind is like a parachute. And Mr. Demersky taking even greater pains to demonstrate the danger of improper roofing design in architectural drawing class. And even myself repeating time and time again, you don't have to like it, you just have to do it. And we won't even begin to discuss the Herculean efforts of your class advisors, Mr. Vion and Miss Kiley, as darkness will fall in a mere 3.5 hours. The fact is, you have been the recipient of an enormous amount of love and understanding and patience and caring from the giants in your life. It would be a good idea that sometime this evening, before you run off to your various social obligations, take a minute and say, "Thanks, Mom and Dad," or "Thanks, Mrs. D," or "Nice job, Mr. Giles. I appreciate what you have done for me." To the class of '95, I wish you well as you gaze into your future this evening. And I hope that one day you are prepared to provide the broad, tall, steady shoulders that will allow the next generation to see a future as bright as yours appears tonight. Thank you.
And looked down
Good evening, graduates-to-be, parents, and friends. In spite of what some misguided individuals might say, our class is truly an extraordinary one. True, many of you know some of our mishaps, but after 4 years, we're leaving here knowing we made outstanding contributions to the school, which But after...
Mr. Pesci's looking at it up there.
Hello? True, many of you know some of our mishaps. But after 4 years, we're leaving here knowing we made outstanding contributions to the school which opened 40 years ago. 4 years ago, as we walked through the doors of Northern Valley as frightened freshmen, we began 4 years of our lives that we'll never forget. Throughout these years, we have been considered quite an incorrigible class. True, we did have trouble getting class participation in some activities. And yes, when there was participation, not everyone was well behaved. Do you want proof of this? Last year, as juniors, we sponsored an all-night comedy movie program. The turnout for this activity was encouraging. Although 80 people transferred their sleeping bags from the main gym to the auxiliary gym and finally to the cafeteria, everything went well. Until around 1 a.m., that is, when a rancid smell filled the entire cafeteria, and all 80 of us had to leave the building for a few hours. But besides the small interruption of the stink bomb, everything else went well. But the staff learned from our mischief. Never again did it schedule an all-night activity. From that example, one might think that we are a bad class. As class president, I believe, however, that we are unfairly underestimated and often overlooked. My class, our class, has done honorable work to benefit the community. In participation to raise money for the Manny Rosario Fund last year, our class conducted a bounce-a-thon. For those who don't know, the class officers collected pledges, and members of the class bounced on a trampoline all day. We raised almost $2,000 in 7 hours. This year, the senior class participated in a pancake breakfast to help others raise money for Jason Rueda, a 1990 graduate. We helped purchase a special van for the physically challenged individual. At the blood drive, our class donated 39 pints of blood. That set an all-school record. But the class has succeeded in still other ways. We have had major effects on Demarest athletics. The girls' volleyball team had its most successful season ever, surpassing last year's excellent efforts. The field hockey team was state sectional champs for the 2nd year in a row. Jessica Alcorta broke the school record for most goals in a season and was the 2nd highest scorer in the state. This winter, wrestling also had its most successful season. Most of the team competed on the state level, including outstanding seniors Jeff Gross, Dan Henry, and Hunsu Kim. This spring, there were excellent teams. The boys and girls track teams were both undefeated. For the first time, the boys won the very prestigious Jack Yockers relays, and the girls... and the girls were league champs for the first time ever. Several seniors who also competed on the state level were Neil Concepcion, Brian Frazier, Kathy Sands, Ryota Utani, and Lauren Zipsey. Billy Cook led the baseball team to win the county tournament, and the boys' tennis team had two seniors, Nick Bowman and Jeremy Green, win doubles in the county tournament. Besides noting wins and losses, there is more to say about our athletic programs. Being an athlete all 3 seasons, I have realized sports have made a lasting impression on me. Besides improving my physical health, athletics has a tremendous impact on my mind. When we participate in athletics, we learn discipline, teamwork, and most importantly, determination. Aside from community services and athletics, we also had many successful and memorable class activities. In the year 2020, when we're at our 25th reunion, we'll still talk about it. We'll still talk about paintball, volleyball night, great adventure, whitewater rafting, the senior picnic, and the senior prom. For helping to make these events of our class so memorable, on behalf of the class of '95, I would like to thank 2 very special people. The patience and tremendous efforts of Miss Marianne Kiley and Mr. Richard Vion helped my class, our class, have unforgettable and cherished memories. Now that this chapter of our lives is about to close, I am proud to say we have matured tremendously during the past 4 years. Every year was a step forward to where we are today. In a few seconds, each of us will receive our diplomas. We now realize that graduation is a major accomplishment. We developed everlasting friendships, accumulated unforgettable knowledge, and found irreplaceable pride. As president of our truly unique class, I hope every one of you experiences success and carries this pride with you for the rest of your lives. So, Uncle Vanya, what will people say about our class 200 years from now? That we were, well, a little incorrigible, but truly extraordinary. Thank you.
Members of the Board of Education, Mr. Ammerman, parents, friends, and members of the class of 1995. On behalf of the students before you, thank you for your financial support, and thank you for providing them with a wonderful school, dedicated teachers and professionals, and an outstanding setting in which to learn. To Mr. Ammerman, administrators, counselors, and support staff, we thank you. Marianne Kiley, Rich Vion, class advisors, thank you for being extra special. To our teachers, as Jeremy Beckert so poignantly stated, your extra effort, time, and dedication made the difference. Thank you. Dear Mom, Dad, grandparents, brothers, sisters, friends, and relatives, thank you for being there when we needed you. Thank you for sharing yourselves with us. Thank you for providing the love and direction we all needed to succeed. Primus inter pares, literally translated, means first among equals. Among the many graduates of Northern Valley, this class is among the most outstanding. They are to be congratulated for their efforts and their achievement. The culmination of your efforts crown your achievement. Today, the graduates of the class of 1995 seek their reward. They have toiled hard since September of 1991. Christina and Nicole outline the successes of these students. in the classroom, in their activities, in their extracurricular activity areas, in their publications, in their athletic participation, and in their humanistic activities, this class and these students have been working hard since they began as freshmen. In the rich tapestry that they have woven for Northern Valley, they have connected their patterns with their genuine interest in one another and all those who have touched their lives. They deserve their just rewards because on the first day in September of 1991, they set a tone, they set goals, and by their accomplishments set an outstanding record for all to emulate and for all to seek to attain. In their doing, I have heard from sources in the school, in the community, in the county, and in the state that they are fine young men and women who represented their schools, their parents, and their teachers with dignity in class. Truly then, primus inter pares, first among equals. Graduates, today you begin the first day of the rest of your life. Employment, military lives, junior college, and college will present the next challenge in your life. We are encouraged and look forward to your future successes because you will become the leaders of tomorrow. Look at the future with great hope and anticipation. May I leave you with this thought. Ancient Egyptians believed that upon their death, they will be asked two questions. Did you bring joy? And did you find joy? Though there are always more times that people relate to misfortune, I will encourage you to find joy in everything you do and share that joy with others. It is appropriate to say to the class of 1995, ad multos annos, wishing you many years in the future. I thank you. Now it is my legal duty under the New Jersey Statutes Title 18A and the New Jersey Administrative Code Title 6, along with a privilege and an honor as Superintendent of the Northern Valley Regional High School District, to certify to our Board of Education that these young women and men have satisfactorily completed the state and local requirements for graduation and are therefore entitled to receive their diplomas. I present to you the outstanding class of 1995.
Tracy Somber Katz. Danielle Delasio. Michelle Ann Harlow. Nick Linares. Jonathan Allen Beckerman. Mark L. Danziger. Jeremy Mahler Green. Seth Frankel. Thomas Francis Rizzo. Becky Lynn Jenberg. Neil Simon Concepcion. Nicole Renee Eftehiu. Jeff Edward Galucci. Catherine Bell. Jeremy Brian Becker. Catherine Ann Sands. Jonathan Joseph Pretty. Maria Hung. Adam Heller Rosenberg. Shirley Lee. Demetrius Alexander Filiu. Christina Vidala.
Ryochi Higashi. Neha Chetta. Jeffrey Wayne Kleiner. Lynn Marie Hagstrom. Dong Wook Tom Lee. Megumi Yamashita. Jun Lin Zhang. Jennifer Lucia. Sean Patrick Neenan. Allie Merritt Zisk. Hun Soo Kim. Barbie Ann Katz. Atsushi Yoda. Julianne Marie Blake. Matthew Scott McWhirr. Carissa Andrea Zenarini. Kevin Allen Wilson. Elise Lanier Martin. Joseph Eli Glada. Brandy Jess. Greg Finelli. Andine K.N. Nicole Wright.
Jill Pergolini. Matthew Tong Il Na. Jamie Sarah Levinson. Matthew Elias Cudrin. Allison Marie Harlow. Robert Andrusini. Jenna Marie Mancini. Daisaki Kawana. Carrie Ann McCullough. Ryan Brett Letterman. Shannon Kylene Robertson. Jason Craig Pitofsky. Cynthia B. Lynn. Daniel A. Gonzalez. Marion S. Park. Jeffrey Yao. Tamar Alyssa Habib. Giancarlo Arcieri. Sharon I. Shan Chan. Kang Lee. Allegro. Jae Won Kim.
Tasul Dan Kim. Ginny Marshall Price. William T. Cook Jr. Sonia K. Singh. Kevin Francis Meager. Yuka Kamamura. Matthew Stephen Wynn. Ji-Yeon Choi. Frederick Stewart Dresser Jr. Jamie Lee Palacia. Jeffrey Burton Matthewsek Jr. Terry Ann Goldsmith. Brendan Douglas Clark. Jennifer Ji-Yeon Chon. Adam Rory Tinter. Jocelyn Chikako Hyde. Harry Albert Smith Jr. Lauren Jean Babica. Michael J. Bob. Carla Susan Nappy. Stephen A. Greco. Melissa Corey Lyons.
Jennifer Helene Gross. Anthony Frederick Osso. Jennifer Davis. Andrew Baskin Karalian. Ah Young Pia Kim. Timothy Andrews Selfo. Morani Peleg. Robert Sean Stilling. Deborah Hyung Young Chung. Keith S. Anderson. Seiran Kim. Ryan Gibson Stewart. Sung Yoon Chung. Stephen Parkowski. Sarah Shin Kim. Alex Young Choi. Beth Ann Terrafranca. Michael James Similian. Deborah Lynn Biondo. Jordan David Weisinger. Patricia Ann Nastro. Jeffrey Mark Gross.
Christopher William Conley. Jillian Hope Rokish. Koichi Kenneth Endo. Kelly Lynn Gregory. Young Park. Melissa Hope Jaffin. Paul B. Crane. Kristen Elizabeth Caffrey. Chirag A. Patel. Jessica Marie Alcorda. Daniel M. Henry. Sandra Lynn Accordino. John M. Capasso. Jennifer Michelle Hilling. Gregory Philip Ginsberg. Delia Columbus Hayden. Daniel Howard Meyer. Crystal Ann Rangen. Ryan Allen Snyder. Nori Teramoto. Nicholas Peter Flatter. Samira J. Paniker.
Sumi Jim Kim. Gerard John Bruno. Samiko Hashimoto. Jayant Doragia. Emily Danielle Murtha. Eric Zachary Silverstein. Beth Allison Murtha. Andrew Benjamin Lampak. Carolyn Kim. James Brian Brack. Amy Leah Bluestein. James J. Lee. Michelle Regino. Ryota Utani. Cynthia Pepper Lotus. Adam Thomas Kirschman. Lauren Rose Zipsey. Brian August Zarski. Saita Ito. Jimmy Che. Rumiko Aruga. Tae Bok Kim.
Ross Peter Herbert. Lisa Beatrice Broderick. Michael Robert Conti. Sheetal Y. Choksey. James Richard Finley. Jung Kathy Cow. Eric Christopher Rao. Lauren Elizabeth Abate. John Paul Siambra. Trisha Ann Berrien. Naveen Naresh Matani. Miriam Santanacita. Tarek Farid Bahu. Lydia Mekjian. Reginald Chad Parcells. Paula Suzanne Meyer. Charles Thomas Thayer. Sarah Hazen Kimberly. Brian John Frazier. Tara Elizabeth Thompson. John Michael Panditch. Michelle Marie Stead.
Lisa Marie Fredericks. Kevin Andrew Eskridge. Seema Daragia.
First note of the session. Back page.
Jacob Leslie Hamrick. Camilla Shadeen. Jack Peter LaRue. Janice Marie Neville. Nicholas John Bowman. Sharon Helene Miskovitz. Elliot Michael Albert. Anna Catherine Tristan Horton. Thomas Mark Nemeth. Shara Hassan Perlman. John Edward Yasso.
Micah Daniel Kasdan. Flora C. Chang. Noriaki Kikuchi. Ariko Shibata. Matthew Gerard Johnson. Stacy Lynn Weintraub. Gray Matthew Lewis. Suzanne Joe Hammerly. Daniel Seth Mulholland. Shayna Michelle Sussman. Ali S. Jafar. Sandy Rira P. Sophian Embek. Chi-Hun Lee. Russell Mark Steinthal. In absentia, Benjamin Michael Weisinger and Gabriel McDonald Kudig.